Welcome to Memorable Marketing by Media Group. On today's podcast, we have Helle Fisker. Helle has a wealth of experience in doing marketing for the medical technology industry. She now works at Biovica, which makes very interesting products for cancer and related diseases. And I'm very excited to talk to her about marketing in this industry, which is very heavily regulated. Without further ado, here's our conversation.
Now things are integrating. There is a trend in companion diagnostics, personalized medicine, which is pursued from pharma and from MedTech companies. There is more collaboration. I definitely see knowledge sharing as an opportunity.
Welcome to Memorable Marketing. It's great to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
And for those of us that are not aware of your background, perhaps you can introduce yourself a little bit.
Certainly. My name is Helle Fisker. I have 25 years of commercial activities in my experience logbook from biotech and pharma companies. So I'm an engineer by background, but I also have a commercial degree. And I started out with some of the big pharma companies, GlaxoSmithKline and Eli Lilly, where I did sales and marketing. And then I ventured into the diagnostic industry with cancer diagnostics. So my entire career has really been focusing on cancer treatments and cancer diagnostics, and then of course enhancing the positions of big companies as well as small startups, which has become a bit of a specialty during the last 10 years of my career.
I see. I suppose one benefit of being sort of really into the field and talking to practitioners is that you get to know their language and the way that they make decisions, and sort of really get to know your target audience. And that must have helped you later on in your career.
Absolutely. Working with, as I also said, highly educated people, you need to structure your dialogue in a certain way, because otherwise you lose the interest. But it's also about bringing them some new and educated information that they appreciate, to get new information that they can dive into and get wiser from.
Sure. I always say the best marketers are really salespeople, because marketing is sales in print, as they used to say. So I suppose that helps as well.
It does.
All right. What do you do at Biovica?
I do a combination of sales and marketing. So startup companies, you typically have, you're wearing several hats, and I am commercially responsible for Europe, and then I'm globally responsible for our marketing. Biovica is also listed on the Swedish First North. So I'm also responsible for our communication to investors. So I'm handling a little bit of everything on the commercial side.
Yeah, investor relations. You'd think that you'd have a team for that. So having it as one of your jobs is kind of crazy. Yeah.
I do have help. We have external consultants and who are assisting, and we have a great team at the company. So we're helping each other out, and I think that's crucial for success in the startup company.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So is it still very much in startup mode now, Biovica?
Absolutely. We have just, you can say we're just getting the first results from the American market, which has been our first market to launch and really has the greatest focus to us. So we're direct with our own sales force, which is in American standards is rather limited. We're getting the first results and it's starting to look really promising. And I'm also taking some of the learnings from the American market to Europe, and I'm starting to build contracts with partners in Europe who can replicate some of the success stories that we have created in the American market.
If you come into an established pharma or medtech company, it's a matter of looking at the numbers and sort of turning the dials here and there to see what you can do to increase commercial success. With a company like Biovica, you're basically throwing your baby out into the world and seeing what happens to it.
That's very true. And what is different from a very established company is the getting reimbursement, the whole market access is of course more challenging for a startup company, because if you have other products where you made these processes happen, you have so much knowledge in the company, and here we have to build it. And in our situation, we have a innovative biomarker. It's new to the market, which means it's a entirely new reimbursement code we're looking at, not just listing it under an existing code. So this is just to mention one out of, several challenges, commercial challenges you have taking a new innovative product to market, simply because it's embedded in being innovative is that it's something the world didn't see before. So how do we handle this? How do we receive it? How do we set it up in our systems? This is definitely a challenge, which is also different from the US to Europe, the individual European countries. So yeah, it's exciting and it takes time.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that part takes a lot of time, getting to a new market, working with regulators and things like this. The, I guess, nice thing about the American market as far as pharma and healthcare goes is that it is a bit more marketing intensive than other markets.
It is. And it's also in a state where a small company might not have the budgets that the existing companies in the market can put behind the campaigns and so on. So you have to be smart. You have to think smart
Mm,
and behave smart. And I think, I'm very convinced in digital marketing. That's where you can make a difference as a startup company, because you don't have the same budgets as the existing players.
yeah, there's a huge barrier to entry, and I suppose the more sort of guerrilla marketing you can do, the better for smaller
For
companies.
sure.
Are there the same type of regulatory impediments in MedTech that you would have in pharma, for instance,
Um,
in Europe?
it's not as heavy as it is with pharma, because in pharma it's medication that the patient will get inside her or his body, and
Mhm.
in medtech it's a test, but the test can have, so it depends on the type of test. And in our case, you can say it is a stronger regulatory code that we have, simply because um, our biomarker can be used for monitoring of treatment, which also can point to maybe that there
Treatment
is a
decisions.
change
Yeah,
needed, and this has an impact for the patient. So
right.
definitely we have what is called a 510(k) clearance, which is the medium level of regulatory burden for our test in the US.
Your target audience, I suppose, is healthcare professionals, not necessarily end users, though, right?
Absolutely. We are not
Yeah,
targeting end users at all.
that also makes it a lot more niche, a lot more targeted.
Certainly, certainly. But also, we have some windows of opportunity where we can speak with our target groups, because when they are busy at work, that might not be the best timing. You need to make schedule some appointments, and that all takes time. So there are some conferences during the year where we like to participate, and especially with new knowledge, new publications. This is what they get interested and engaged from, and we can follow up with the meetings when they're interested. So it is,
Sure.
you need to trigger them that way.
get their attention while you can, I
Yes.
suppose. In other industries, for instance, more B2B companies, the model is also very much around sort of events, conferences, and then marketing kind of plays a supportive role in that. We see more and more of those companies using knowledge sharing to get attention outside of these
Hmm.
events, because on the internet, obviously, you can do that at scale. How do you see this?
I definitely see knowledge sharing as an opportunity, and I think this is something we have on our agenda. We want to utilize even further. We have conducted what we call ad boards, which is basically video recorded digital meetings where key opinion leaders or just regular community oncologists are discussing our biomarker and how they're applying it, and you know that's very helpful, I think, um, for other oncologists to watch. So this is something I believe has a strong potential.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What we see in other industries that even if you create content that is not directly related to your product, but very relevant for your target audience,
Mhm.
it's going to positively help you to get attention and space in their mind, right?
Certainly.
So, in your case, hosting things that are of interest to oncologists. Regardless of the specific connection to your tests, I think could be useful.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It's, getting known as somebody who's a industry specialist or
Mhm.
expert, then that helps. So we're certainly into building that image online and with the target audience.
Sounds interesting. So your target audience is what we just discussed. Are there close competitors that are doing the same? You said that's an entirely new code.
You can say there are other tools for monitoring treatment. The existing tools is radiology, CT scans,
Mhm.
and traditionally this is done. There are some major industry players in that game. They're also doing something. I don't see it so structured, to be honest, and I think that's our opportunity. I strongly believe we have an opportunity there to build our reputation and make a difference.
I suppose you can only do the CTs. You can not do them, let's say, as regularly as you could do blood research, and so there's a real convenience factor there that those other technologies don't have.
Exactly. And this is
Yeah.
the knowledge that we would like to spread, that here you have a biomarker. It's easy to take a tiny blood sample. We're talking about small amounts, 1 ml. You can even have your outpatient clinic, your general practitioner can take this blood sample. You don't need to go to the hospital and get in a scan. And the scan is every 3 to 4 months, because visually you cannot really see any growth any
Mm.
sooner. And this is the big advantage with the biomarker. You can detect it after the first month, even after 2 weeks, you will be
Yeah.
able to detect it. So much, much sooner.
Well, remind me to buy some stock in your company.
Yeah.
That sounds that sounds actually like a no-brainer. So the nice thing is when you have a really good product, that marketing gets a lot easier. I mean, of course, there are lots of challenges, and you still need to let people know. There's this saying about tree falling in the forest if no one is around to hear it. But at the same time, I think that that does just so much more of a thankful job doing marketing for a product that people actually want and that are very useful.
Yes. That's and this is also where we see the growth. We know that our big challenge is awareness. We're not known by that many yet, but when they get to know us, this is definitely fruitful and very rewarding to get the feedback.
Sure. So you have sort of an awareness challenge on the marketing side of things.
Yes.
How are you going to solve this in general? don't have to get
I'm
specific,
I
but
mean,
yeah.
for starters, we're doing now an approach with SEO optimization to get out there on a wider level, because our challenge is, our sales reps, they can only put this many appointments in the schedule, and we want to sort of prepare the awareness or the minds of the customers in advance.
Is that a necessary step to have a sales rep talk to someone that's
It
interested?
is to the degree that it gives them, so the biomarker might be very easy, but they need to understand there is a long list of treatments in breast cancer. How will it work with this treatment? How it will work with the other treatment? So it needs some insurance that, this actually works for all the treatments with this patient group. And even though we're stating it in different places on the website, this is not something that which is typically they want this kind of connection to the company, that they know this is the
Sure.
solid. And I do appreciate, oncologists, they need to ensure that what they are prescribing for the patient is actually the right prescription. So they want to be safe and make sure that they're doing a good job. So we're helping them doing a good job.
Sure. Yeah, and I suppose it's not a bad look to have oncologists sort of begging for an appointment with with your sales rep, if it would get to that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the best products the market is asking for to be sold to, basically, and
Yes.
yeah,
To get to that they're begging for an appointment, because that's when we know we are out there, and they know about us. Right now, it's a little bit of an aha moment. I see, and then they need to go
yeah,
back and speak with their peers and discuss it, and come back again. So right now there are iterations which could be removed in the process if we had that awareness out there.
sure. So you mentioned doing SEO for getting people online if they're searching for specific subjects to find you, which is very smart, of course. Are you doing any other marketing related things online?
Yes, we are. We are to build our image as experts in the field. We have a blog. So what we've done is via our website, we are launching different, broader articles about the field. So it's not so directly focused necessarily on our biomarker, but in general on the field, on what's being done. And I think that's very relevant. And then our ambition is to get up and do more online meetings than what we're doing currently. As you also noticed up front, I have many hats. So this is one of
Mhm.
the challenges, is a resource challenge, but this is definitely an ambition, because we can see there is a great impact from this.
So things like webinars or events, but then online. Is that what
Yes,
you're saying? Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, in that there's also a great role of marketing to promote these things. Again, if you're advertising to oncologists directly with your product, it might not be received as well as saying, "Here's a very cool event you might want to get to and listen to." And
Exactly
yeah,
right. Because if they feel, that we're choosing them, and they're thinking what's behind it. But if it's something where a group of oncologists are participating, it's a completely different atmosphere, and they rely on each
yeah.
other, look to each other, how the peers are reacting.
Well, and creating this sort of connection and community is also something that could be its own yeah, reward. Let's say. Yeah,
Certainly, certainly.
yeah. All right. So, sort of outside of Biovica, what do you see in the pharma and medtech industry as far as marketing goes?
I see. When I started. Pharma companies and biotech companies, that was like two completely separate worlds. And I see now things are integrating. There is a trend in companion diagnostics, personalized medicine, which is pursued from pharma and from MedTech companies. There is more collaboration, pharma and MedTech, and even biotech. So biotech is more into the basic research, you can say, starting the really innovative products up, and MedTech is more pointing towards the treatment itself. But this is becoming a big trend. We're actually also discussing with pharma companies. We have projects where they purchase our biomarker, and we state that also on our website. We have a list of pharma collaborations and projects
Hmm.
where they are interested in understanding, could this biomarker help this particular treatment we have in pipeline, and maybe we will come out with a collaboration for a what we call a companion diagnostics. In our case, it would be
Mm.
companion monitoring, but basically that the biomarker is recommended to be used with the particular treatment. So this is a goal we
Yeah, that
have. We're not there yet, but we have many interesting discussions.
no, it makes total sense. If you can even offer it as a sort of an integrated plan, so to speak, I think both of the companies will do good on that.
Yes.
But you talked sort of more broadly about how pharma and medtech and maybe also biotech are kind of merging into one.
Yes. It's interesting because at the conferences there would be, like 15 years ago, it would be pharmaceutical conference. So if you are the oncologist, you would go to the oncology meetings, and it would be pharma companies exhibiting and on display. Now we see more and more that there are tests and test algorithms also on display in these meetings, and vice versa. The diagnostic medical professionals, they would go to meetings for diagnostics, and not there would be no pharma companies exhibiting. Now there are pharma companies exhibiting there as well. So the fields are merging,
Hmm.
and this is exactly the trend that Biovica is riding, you can say, with the biomarker. And I would say, this is still a very young field. We still have a long list of biomarkers. I would say 99% are still not companion diagnostics. So how do we make the field companion diagnostics in its entire approach? And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of work to do, and it's very exciting, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I think another very interesting part of this industry is AI. How AI is being used to diagnose as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a very strong trend as well. AI can improve current technologies like radiology. They can apply AI to make it more accurate, which is great, but they cannot remove the patient will have to wait for 3 to 4 months to get the results, because there is a limitation to the image technology. So
Mm.
there are different ways that AI can improve it, and AI can also improve the diagnostic side, making it more accurate. However, it's an additional step in the lab. So time-wise, there is an add-on in time. So there are ups and downs with AI. It can make the results much better and stronger, but it's also adding to the processes. And this is, you know, in this sense, AI is very young, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking, going forward, it will actually be much more integrated with a biomarker as it's released. That's what makes sense, and we see that with a lot of the
Yeah.
genetic test technologies coming out, that this is released with a algorithm for interpretation, which will, in this case, cut a lot of the time spent for analyzing the results.
And thus cost. And I suppose it also plays into the thing that you mentioned earlier about personalized medicine.
Yes,
Um,
it
that's
certainly does. It will certainly help identify what's relevant, more relevant, and it can also help develop new treatments. So there are really a wealth of opportunity in AI. We're
mm,
just seeing the beginning there as well.
yeah, no, for sure. If only they would help us to do better marketing.
Yeah,
Or talk to investors or to our compliance people.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that would be great. You've mentioned a bit about the trends in the industry. Are there any companies in this industry that are doing marketing in very interesting or good ways that you're aware of? Does anything come to mind?
Honestly, not so much. I think that the old dragons, if I can use that expression, they are very traditional in their approach to marketing. And then we have the diagnostic companies. They haven't really spent a lot of money in marketing because the market was so, you can say,
Divided.
yeah,
Yeah.
that it's really, they didn't need to spend that much money in marketing because everybody knew who the few major players were, to be very
Uh,
honest.
yeah.
And this is, because things are now merging, they're also learning from each other, and I see that merge as an opportunity also for startup companies like Biovica, that we
Mhm.
can come in, and we have no legacy built in our approach to marketing, so we have the possibility of utilizing newer tools, but
Mhm.
certainly things like webinars and so on has been used and applied in all of the sectors so far, and there's no doubt that
Mhm.
Pharma, they have money to create apps, and they can do what they like to.
Are there any challenges within the sort of broader marketing function at Biovica that you would like to still focus on?
There is no doubt, we have a time limitation to what we can do. As I mentioned before, I would like to do more digital online activities and meetings. I think, awareness is my major challenge here. How do we get access to all the oncologists in the US? So our sales force is not completely unknown, but they come in with a pre some pre knowledge.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think, the market is big. It's just you know to start swimming.
Yeah, where to start?
Yeah,
I suppose there's also
yeah,
we talked about like being a bit yeah, doing guerrilla marketing and low budget, but as you just pointed out, the market is so big that there's also something about strategy on who you're going to target first, which areas,
true.
which parts. Yeah.
We actually, that's a very good point, because we've been discussing, we have been targeting key opinion leaders initially, because we needed a lot of clinical data to support our biomarker, so they would get convinced that this is working with the different treatments in different situations that the patient might face. It can be severe side effects to a very high degree. It can be, other issues occurring during treatment. So we have focused initially on key opinion leaders, and this is, now we're in a situation where, okay, we have the early adopters there, but how do we bridge to the early majority of
Yeah.
users? And this traditional chasm challenge. How do we do that? And you're spot on when you're saying, the market is big. How do we approach it?
Which
And
parts?
this
Yeah.
is also where we are discussing, based on our first go-to-market experience in the US, what's the profile for a first mover oncologist in that space, who are not necessarily star key opinion leaders speaking at all the conferences, but just wanting to do a good job with the patient, and who dares to move first. And this is the profile we're in process creating.
Sure. And I suppose besides just who is willing to use your essay, there's also sort of this Pareto principle where 80% of the sales, if you might call it, will come from a very small percentage, usually 20 or less, of oncologists.
Yes,
Uh,
correct. What we're facing is also it's not necessarily the key opinion leaders.
no.
So, so this is the, so you are spot on with that as well. This is what we need to identify who, and it's also related to the size of the hospital or organization behind it, of course. But
But I guess those doctors might be too busy to be key opinion leaders.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly. This is something you can also, with digital tracking, you can try to figure out, who are, let's say, the biomarker, which it is used a lot with a certain group of treatment. Then we can go with this group of treatment and see who's actually prescribing a lot of this treatment. That would be an obvious, and then link our activities to this.
I believe in America, all of the prescription information is accessible to companies, right? So you know exactly who's prescribing what,
Yes.
even competitor data.
Yes. And now that we have an understanding what's, the which treatments they prefer to monitor with our biomarker, we can go there and we can definitely see who's more, who are high prescribers of those treatments, that list of treatments.
Sure. And in such a model of sales, I suppose marketing becomes a sort of yeah, enabler of success. As you were pointing out, you want that sales rep to come to the door to someone that is already familiar and is basically willing to sign the check then and there, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, finding how many visits does it take before they sign the bill. Uh,
Yeah,
and this is also what we're learning right now. It varies from product to product, and to be honest, for this particular application, there's been no biomarker before, really. So it's is there are a couple of other tests that you do to ensure that the white blood cell count is not too low, and that the liver is performing, and so on and so forth. So there is a list of biomarkers that you can test on blood,
yeah,
which you do in the course of the patient treatment. But this is, because it is a unique concept. This is what we're figuring out, how many visits do we need.
yeah. And I suppose for someone that's really into digging through the data, there's a wealth of data there. Marketing nerds, I like to call them. They yeah, like I said, a lot of
And
data.
we do that
I'm
in
also
sales as well, because that's gonna give us the knowledge that we need and the firepower we need. Mm.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like the process that you were just talking about of segmenting the oncologist and looking at who prescribes what. That's good homework for a salesperson anyway.
Yes.
But what you kind of want to do is lookalike targeting, right? Like so, people that have already had sales visits, like, what do they look like, and how can we target them elsewhere? And that part is
Yeah.
yeah, more marketing. Hmm. Very interesting. Helle, maybe we can change gears here a little bit and ask you a question. What advice would you have given yourself at the beginning of your career, knowing what you know now?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, it would be that, follow your passion. You know, I was maybe a little bit more like, you know, it would be wise to go there. It would be wise to do this.
Mm,
And I think it actually is. it's a good company strategy as well to follow the passion, to follow that one product is actually is a strength, as you were mentioning before. The 80/20 rule that also applies to products. But me as an individual, I would definitely follow my passion much stronger than I did.
Yeah, I suppose I agree with you, but on the other hand, I kind of don't, because telling people that they have to focus on their passion, it's kind of a luxury that a lot of people don't really have. I
Yeah,
think the best that we can hope for is finding something that we're good at and that we get paid for a lot, and then usually it will intersect with also what you have passion for, but not always.
it's true, and this is also why I initially said, I have to be, I have to go there, I have to do this, because otherwise it my economy won't probably look very good.
Yeah,
On the other hand, I think, if I should say, what am I dreaming to do. And I had for many years a dream of making my own company, and a startup company. And I think now I have financial obligations. I have a family, I have
yeah,
somebody to support. When I was younger, I didn't have that. And that's a benefit when doing a startup. So this is honestly the one thing that I do regret, that I didn't do that when I had the dream, and I went for the regular salary payments
yeah.
with the companies. On the other hand, I learned a lot from those
Mm,
companies that I really appreciate today. The sales training in a pharma company is probably the best you can get in this industry. Then transitioning into the diagnostics, learning about the diagnostics, and now see where the market is going and how those two are merging is incredible. So I can't
yeah,
complain. I've had a really wonderful career and time, but yeah, I would
yeah.
still advise, if you have that entrepreneurial dream, go for it when you're young.
I think there's a saying like live in New York once but leave before it makes you hard, live in California once but leave before it makes you soft. And working on the corporate side and seeing kind of how that all works, and how people talk and how things are done in such a way is great. Also, if you plan on becoming an entrepreneur later,
Yeah.
but then leave before it makes you live a quiet life of desperation, I suppose.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that you mentioned about not having a lot of responsibilities, and when you're younger, and being an entrepreneur, this is actually a really good information for younger people to have, that a lot of somewhat older people that have more money to invest and spend, they always wish that they did that, and they're more than happy to support very entrepreneurial and hardworking and responsible people that are looking to start their business. So I think a lot of people, young people, don't because of the risk, but actually they just have to ask.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a member of a group of business angels, and this is what we do. We invest in young people, in teams. That it's important that the team can work well together in order to succeed, because it is challenging, and this is also why some people are not going for the dream.
Hmm.
But I think the best is not knowing what's ahead of you. Then you will have to solve it on the way there, and you have
Just jump in the deep.
the energy
Yeah.
for it, because yeah, you're in process.
What's the worst that could happen? You could move back in with your parents. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's yeah,
That it's a bit harder when you have a number of children, and it's,
yeah, a big fluffy
yeah.
cat that needs food every day. Yeah, tell
And
me
your
about it.
mom
Yeah.
has cat allergy.
All right, Hella. Actually, me too, but I'm allergic to everything. So I
Oh,
hope that your next company might be a good might solve the allergy problem.
yeah.
Hella.
Why not? Yeah.
It was lovely talking to you, Hella. I hope we can do it again sometime. For now,
Likewise.
thanks very much for joining.
Thank you.
That was my conversation with Helle Fisker. I thought it was very interesting. She's a nice woman, but also very knowledgeable about this field. And it's interesting how she brings a sort of engineering approach to marketing. Again, I hope you enjoyed that conversation. If you did, we regularly record new ones. So keep an eye on our social media platforms and like and subscribe, as they say. Until next time.